All right, Ericcson, it was great meeting you yesterday, brother. So I wanted to show you guys from a biomechanics standpoint and an energy standpoint what we're looking for and what I would grade you out at yesterday, and then discuss which one chunk of the delivery, this movement pattern of throwing a baseball, which one I would highly recommend that you spend the most time focusing on, the chunk, if you will, that's going to get you the most bang for your buck in terms of helping close the gap that exists on velocity and helping to retrain the brain and the body to produce a more effective movement pattern that's going to help you stay healthy over time as you continue to say, hey, I'm letting it rip, dude. All right, so we'll start with the end in mind, because again, we use the Driveline baseball programming as our baseline. So it's called backward chaining. So this would be the recovery phase right here, which is your arm's deceleration path. So right in here, you can see that it's like somebody's almost grabbing your throwing arm and yanking it back in this direction. It's hyperextended. Might be tough to see, but it's going to put a lot of stress on your posterior shoulder, your rotator cuff. And so we can see that where that really starts to take place, if we back this up, is what we call the driveline phase, which is when your lead leg starts to bear weight as drive foot contact. Okay, and you actually do a great job of lead leg blocking. And so that's why this driveline phase is going to help you get a jump, because you know how to stop your energy on the lower half. And now we just need to get more effective, more efficient with stacking the trunk and then driving the shoulder through the target versus throwing the hand. And so you'll see here, so you're down, everything looks pretty solid. And then as you start to rotate, arm lays back well. Boom, you got, let me work this here. It's a poor angle, but here, let's see if we can get this thing relatively close. All right, we're looking for max external rotation of the throwing shoulder here. All right, and so let's say you're between 80 and 87 degrees. Again, can't draw a perfect angle here with, or can't draw a true conclusion, but what we're looking for there is above 85 degrees of external rotation. It's just potential energy that then can be transferred into the ball. But what you'll see is everything's clean through here, boom, and then you lose control of the elbow because your hand flies out away from your center of gravity, away from your spine, and you can see that early elbow extension right there. And ultimately what we want to do is create a throwing motion, like we said, that's more shoulder dominant. So think about like the way a figure skater rotates. They don't rotate with their arms out wide, they rotate in tight so they can maximize the power and the speed of their spin. And then ultimately when you lose control of the elbow that early, it's going to put a lot of stress on that medial elbow, medial forearm, which is where you said you get pain, and then your body's going to go ahead and launch early, again, because the shoulder's not driving the movement. You do get a little bit of a pronation bump right here. It's your body's protective mechanism to make sure that we don't, basically that our arm doesn't come flying out of our shoulder, and it protects the elbow. But then you'll see the next frame right here, boom, you lose it, and now you really hyperextend. And that's where the stress on that posterior shoulder really starts, and then you carry it all the way down into that finish. So ultimately you're costing yourself by extending the elbow early and just having poor control of the directional acceleration of your elbow right now. You're costing yourself velocity, and you're definitely putting yourself at more risk for arm injury. So what we'll talk about is really the pivot pickoff drill is going to be your biggest focus. The driveline phase is the phase I'm going to recommend that you focus on, hence the namesake. It's easily the most important phase. It's just all about learning how to keep the upper half, the trunk stacked, and learning how to rotate your throwing shoulder through the target aggressively, which is going to naturally drive a more efficient path for elbow extension into launch. So let me know if you guys have any questions. It was great working with you, great meeting with you, and I'm confident if we do the work, we can get you the result you're looking for.